Alrighty, are we live? I don't know if anyone is there yet. Let's see. Becca says live. Nice. Good evening, Becca. Give me 1 second. Let me just set things up. Cool. Very nice. Give me 1 second. What's up, Becca? How is life? Ah, that sounds fun. Give me 1 second. Why is this not visible? Okay, so chat is there now. Nice. Let's keep it there, maybe. Yeah, right. Okay, so let's keep that there. Alrighty. Well, good evening. Hopefully, a few of you at least have joined so far. So we're gonna continue with the Kubernetes stuff and Ansible and other stuff. And actually, I done some work off stream and learned some new stuff and made a lot of changes here. So we need to figure out what do we want to do and learn today. Numinex, my friend. Oh my god, he's alive as well. Yeah, I'm back, dude. I'm back. It's been 3 months, I think, since I streamed or something. So yesterday I streamed, finally. Finally. Good, man, good. Just been to the gym. Been today with my wife and kid for the most day. And been to the gym, showered and stuff, and gonna hang out with you guys a bit now. And yeah, work tomorrow. What about yourself, man? How is everything? Interesting. Connection refused. Why? Craft, good evening, friend. Let me just see. So why is our database? What was it? I think on the Raspberry Pi 2 we have set up the Postgres, right? Let's see. How is the project going, man? Did you guys have any success? Nice. Does that translate to anything financial yet? Yeah, it's Numinex. Okay, let me just try to apply this Ansible thing. So I'm gonna go to programmer network, what is it, Kubernetes, right? And I'm gonna try to run this Ansible thing, and it's gonna be Postgres, setup Postgres, right? That's amazing, Numinex. That's amazing, man. Hopefully you're gonna start making some money soon. Okay, so basically this failed now because our we need to only attempt to make the network if it doesn't exist. So let's actually talk to our AI. Man, that's amazing, dude. That's awesome. That's amazing, dude. Nice, man. Hopefully it's gonna materialize. I remember when we spoke, when I had you live on my stream, or maybe, I don't know if we maybe just via chat. I know that it of course would mean that you, yeah. Yeah, we don't have this Docker module actually present. So that's the problem, right? Give me 1 second. I just need to test something out in Linux. So if I do this, this should spawn Postgres, right? Yeah, I'm gonna be. I want to write the most comprehensive guide of setting up bare metal Kubernetes on the internet. So I streamed yesterday after 3 months, and now I'm streaming again. So we're gonna be focusing on that. Give me a second. So so it's gonna be infrastructure, yeah, for a couple of streams. What did I want to do? Yeah. I would like to have Numinix again on the stream if he wants to. That would be great. I mean, so for sure, right? Of course, always the question is, does one need that, right? As well, because there's always the right questions to ask, right? But okay, now it's actually here, and the database is still there. Okay, so but this is not good. We don't like this, right? So what we need to do, that's what we planned at least as part of this infrastructure. What we want to do, right, is we want to make sure that where's the diagram that we drew? Where's the plan, right? We need to make sure that the container runs or starts when the system boots, right? And yeah, so it's going to be a little bit everyone's so fixated on clustering. Yeah, that's a huge mistake. So what we are doing here, Numinix, is not for the sake of being productive, right? It's for the sake of learning and for the sake of many other things. Actually, let me just pin this repository. This is what we're going to be working on for a couple of streams. So no, I mean, just because everybody's fixated on clusters and stuff, it doesn't mean you should be, right? That's a terrible path to take. You don't need any of that right now, right? But yeah, I get that. I think the trend is gonna go down, right? I mean, like with every trend, right? With every trend so far, you always have shit like it starts, it goes this because it gets hyped, and then it stabilizes somewhere here, right? So all of these hypes, you know, Web3, crypto, and all of that bullshit, right? Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not just how much it costs, it's also how complex it is, right? I mean, here we're doing the most complex thing, which is bare metal Kubernetes, right? So that is, it cannot get more complex than that, right? Because you have to manage all of that yourself in a way, right? Kubernetes and GCP is a different story, right? Yeah. It's because it's a syndrome of just copying what others are doing, right? It's to some degree, right? That's very healthy, because yeah, you want to do that sometimes. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. Like you see, uh, yeah, copying big tech, right? A lot of people are, especially younger developers. I have videos on that. If you guys remember, I have a video on YouTube called influencer-driven development, right? If you remember, I recorded that video, right? So I speak about that in detail, right? It's because a lot of people, especially here on Twitch and YouTube, a lot of people here are, you guys are exception, shoots them Numinix, you guys are exception. A lot of people who watch these streams, they're young, they don't have a job, they're inexperienced, and a lot of them are driven by, oh, these guys at Netflix have done this. But in reality, right, 99.999% of companies, they never reach the state where they need such systems, right? Because they don't have to scale that much. So in 99.9, so you should focus rather on 99% of the cases, not on hyper successful companies, right? Yeah, for sure, right? So it's just it's when you're young and inexperienced, right? You tend to think this way, right? That is very, very common. So it's not uncommon. But once you grow up a bit and gain experience, then right. So what we're doing here is rather complex consciously, and the point of these few streams, and then I'm going to create a course off of this, is going to be to really present end-to-end Kubernetes end-to-end. So from the networking layer, from MikroTik to the hardware that we have here, right? So this is our cluster here. So, so the whole point of this is to present it without these abstractions, right? When you use GCP, you have their user interface, you have the GCP, same with AWS, right? So this is rather to just show how actually all of this works, end-to-end. And I think having a cluster like this at home, for those of you who can afford it, even if you buy the 10 euros old laptops, you can still do this. You don't have to have a fancy Raspberry Pis and MikroTik router. You can achieve the same setup. Of course, you can use virtual machines as well, but it's different when you have the actual hardware, when you have to kind of see how things are running and et cetera, right? Alrighty. Okay, so anyway, so we're going to be doing this, and I'm going to be updating this README. I basically want this to end up being the most comprehensive guide on the internet on how to do this. I'm not an expert. I suck at Kubernetes as well, so we are all relatively beginners here in it. So by no means, don't misunderstand me, but that's the whole point. I figured if I'm going to stream and I gain nothing off of streaming anyway, let's rather stream something where I can also gain, at least learn something new, right? So this was my, I was like, okay, if I'm going to stream again, if I'm going to continue streaming, there has to be something for me as well, right? So this is what I found. Okay, cool. So, okay, so that's great. I have a web dev question since I jumped to the JS world a couple months ago. How do you stick with some tools? They change all the time. Is it worth sticking with React? I don't think that shoots them. I don't think that things change. I think, again, that is, again, going back to the video I recorded, it's influencer-driven development, right? I don't think that things change. I'm writing React past 10 years, right? Or since I stopped with, or even more since I stopped with Ember.js and Knockout and Angular 1 and stuff. So I don't think that things change much, to me at least. I commercially work, right? And I write React pretty much probably around, maybe not 10 years, that was exaggeration, maybe around 6 or 7 years now, right? And I write pretty much the same React like 6-7 years ago. Sure, we used to have class-based components and all of that crap. Right now we have functional components, and no, so things don't change. Things change on YouTube and Twitch streams. That's where things change. In reality, React is still React, and Redux is still Redux, and you have a bunch of this crap, Zeusland and all of these things. I mean, yeah, things have always existed, right? But you know the saying, the dog that barks doesn't bite. So it's the same with these loud people, right? It's just the content. So learn React, and that's a great UI library, all right? If you learn just React, that's going to be great. So I don't think, yeah, my take is I don't think that things change that fast, no. Sorry, I just need to drink my protein. Give me 1 second. JavaScript is a beautiful language. There's nothing wrong with it. The only problem with JavaScript is that a lot of people suck at it, right? JavaScript is not an easy language. It's a slightly different language, so there's nothing wrong with JavaScript. It's just the biggest problem with JavaScript is not the JavaScript itself, it's the entry level, right? A lot of beginners, a lot of junior developers who start thinking too good of themselves very quickly, they start bashing it. It's because it's trendy. They watch a lot of these videos and stuff, right? JavaScript is a great language. It's a miracle language, right? It's the only language ever that allowed us to build so many things on nearly all platforms. Node.js robots, Internet of Things, mobile apps, desktop apps, server, you name it, right? Not really, no, I don't think so. I don't think so, no. I mean, the whole internet runs on JavaScript, right? PayPal runs on Node.js, right? So I don't think so. I disagree with that. I don't think so, man. I've been writing JavaScript for 20 years and I never had security issues, even 20 years ago, right? So you need to be, I mean, it doesn't actually matter if I agree or disagree because we don't have to agree. You might be right, I might be right, who cares, right? We don't have to, but you would need to be more specific when you make such a claim. When you say security, you need to be more specific, right? I think Numinix, as I spoke before, and before we actually continue with the actual stream, let me show you one thing, right? So no matter what, right? Let's actually draw it, right? So as I spoke before about it, right? If you're mature, experienced, professional, I'm not going to use word developer. I'm going to use professional. For any reasonable professional, in our context, programmer, you have to always look at COGS, cost of goods sold, right? So how much, let's imagine you and I have a company, right? You and I, Numinix, we have a company, right? And you and I have to decide which technology to use, right? But we're not going to decide that based on, oh, this library can serve this many requests and stuff. Nobody cares about that. Nobody chooses technology based on that, very rarely, right? So what you do, basically, you say, okay, how easy can we hire people in our region, right? What tech stack is available to us in our region, right? Because we have to hire people, right? Then you say, okay, how easy is to, hire, say, JS developer versus Haskell developer, right? How much does each cost? Right, so you start making reasonable decisions. This is how any reasonable leader in tech makes decisions, based on the business needs, not nerdy, sweaty, 16 years old mentality, right? And then you say, okay, should we buy or build it ourselves? Build it ourselves is usually not the way. So this is almost never the case today. So in most cases, you want to buy something. Why? Well, say like this. Let's imagine that you pay a tool that costs $100 a month, right? So that's $1,200 a year, right? That's $1,200 a year. For $1,200 a year, you cannot even pay a reasonable senior developer for 2 weeks of work, right? Or a week. No chance. I mean, my salary is, I don't even want to say, right? So you say, okay, well, here, it's right, it would take us months to build this, And of course, we have to maintain it forever. And maintain forever, right? What does maintain forever mean? It means time. And what is time? Time is money, right? So when it comes to COGS, right, you want to reduce this number, meaning we don't want to increase how much money we spend on just maintaining software, right? So you want to, of course, keep this low. So you also can't just buy everything. But you want to make sure that if you buy a tool, it's saving you more money than it's spending. So it's a very simple equation. If we buy this, is it cheaper for us long term, or is it more expensive? That's a reasonable way to work with things, right? So there are so many questions you have to ask when choosing a technology, and nearly none of them are something that developers might think they are. Oh, is React faster than Vue.js? No reasonable person asks these questions, right? Because nobody cares. Because in no circumstances, almost, somebody tries one over the other and says, oh, Vue.js is so much slower than React, or vice versa. There's no such cases nearly happening on the planet, right? But what you do ask is like, how fast can we hire a React developer, or I don't know, Ember.js, or how fast can we hire Rust developer over C# developer, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And then you can go to LinkedIn, right? So for example, I can showcase, I have a video on this on YouTube. I can come here, right? So I can go here. No, I can go here, yeah, and say Rust developer, right? Now I can actually go to jobs, right? And I can say Copenhagen Rust developer. How many jobs are for Rust? If this is true, this is quite fascinating. I don't think it's true actually, because I can see not all of this is Rust. So we would need to somehow filter this out, right? But you get the point. So you keep and you narrow down what is actually. So these are the reasonable questions to ask. Let me just read the comment by Freedom. Yeah, but so Freedom, that has nothing to do with JavaScript. First of all, you're writing very random things, right? You're projecting things, right? So let's break down everything you said, right? Because for those who know my stream and who know me, I don't talk plain bullshit, right? So let's break down everything you said. It's very simple. That's how engineers should talk, right? So I'm gonna take everything you wrote, and I'm gonna break it down. Okay. So this is what you said. So you go to a site, and bear with me. Yeah, but that's not an argument to me. If you have something to say, say it. Such things saying like that's just a surface. That means nothing to me. Anyway, let's break this down. Say you go to a site, right-click View Sources. Sure, they loaded minified.js. Okay, with no balance as to where it came from. I have no idea what do you mean by this. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you don't know where it's from? What does this have to do with security? So does a user know where the files in a C# project are? Does a user know where the files written in C are? So what does this have to do with security? Can you elaborate? People often use cache on domains. What does this mean? Cache on domains. What type of cache is that? What can be taken over? How? How? No checks in the middle. Elaborate. What do you mean no checks in the middle of where? You need to be more elaborative. No, I don't need a ChatGPT, man. I've been programming for 20 plus years. You need to be more clear. What do you mean? This makes absolutely no sense. What do you mean? You go to right-click View Sources, they loaded minified with no checks or balance. What do you mean you don't know where it came from? You can literally see in the network tab where it came from, which domain, where it's loaded from. So, but why does that matter? So do you know where the code is when you use a software on your machine that's written in C++? How do you know where the code is? Yeah, but what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I'm sorry, man. Like, quantum computing, what quantum computing has to do with the browser? Major security, the browsers do not have... I have no idea what you're talking about, honestly. This is just a bunch of bullshit. You need to say something specific, right? Because none of this makes any sense. Browser has to load files, of course, like every programming language spits some files, some binaries, right? The code has to be somewhere, right? Anyway, this is a bunch of random stuff, man. I don't know how did you get to quantum computing from the browser. Anyway, I'm sorry, man. You need to be more specific. Well, it's nice discussions. Let's learn something new today. So let's learn something new today. So basically, I spent some time off stream this morning. And if you remember, guys, we did Ansible yesterday. So my Ansible grew a little bit. I learned some new things about it. And then I extracted a lot of things into playbooks. So as you can see, so we'll need to rewrite this README. We'll need to rewrite this a bit. I'll need to rewrite it. Okay, we're somebody sending us a ChatGPT. Let's go. But dude, you're not making any point. You can make this point about any programming language. What exactly is your point, man? This makes none of this makes any sense. These are not arguments you think that they are, right? This is so the argument you think you're making, you're not making, right? So you're saying that JavaScript potentially can have security issues. Of course, which language can't? I mean, what is your point? Are you saying that are you saying that the browsers are not fully secure? Of course they're not. Nothing is fully secure. So what exactly is your point? I don't understand. So you're saying that in the browsers, they could be vulnerabilities. Yes, they are vulnerabilities everywhere. On Windows, on Linux, on Mac OS, on your smartwatch. So what exactly is your point? What does this have to do with JavaScript as a language? Because JavaScript as a language is a separate thing than the browser, right? So 90% of these things are not JavaScript. They're related to other things, certificates, SSL, HTTP, etc., etc., etc. So what exactly is your point? If you're trying to make a point that web browser can be insecure if not done right, yes, and every other platform is insecure if not done right, right? So I don't exactly understand what your point is, unless you're trying to say that every other platform, every other runtime is fully secure, but the browser isn't. So I mean, these points are cache mismanagement. You can have cache mismanagement in any runtime. You can have this in Rust. You can have this in Haskell. You can have this in C#, right? So what is your point? This is not specific to JavaScript, right? This is also not specific to JavaScript. You can lack encryption in any other language, right? You can have the same issue with any other language as well, right? JavaScript ecosystem has a large attack surface due to, yes, of course, because it's the most popular runtime on the planet. There's 4 billion devices running JavaScript. So of course that statistically and logically it has the highest chance because it's the most used, of course, right? JavaScript can be manipulated. Yes, any language can be manipulated. Rust can be manipulated. C# can be manipulated. C++, which we've seen for decades, right? So none of this is right or wrong. The core question is, what is your point, right? This is not specific to a language. All of these security concerns you've raised here are nearly identical in every language, right? Yeah. Nice music. Glad that you like it. Glad that you like it. Okay. Hopefully we have cleared that out. Let's not mix up things, right? All right, so where do we continue today is the question, right? So first thing that I just saw is that if we SSH into our Raspberry Pi 2, basically, so if we SSH into this guy on the second from the left, so that's where our database is. You can see hard drive is plugged into USB 3.0. If we take a look at the running containers, we have that, but we need to run the Redis as well. So that kind of sucks, right? So we can see that once I restart my Raspberry Pi, our databases go down. So we need to kind of set it so it boots with the operating system. And we'll need to I'm a huge metalhead, man. I have like, I don't know, 10, 15 guitars here as well. Give me 1 second. Let me run the Redis Ansible stuff. Set up Redis. Ah, shit. What? Oh. So we need to say here Ansible. Kubernetes, interesting. I do. Give me 1 second. Set up Redis, right? Yeah. Numinex, give me 2 seconds. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Yeah, I don't like that. So we'll need to fix that. Probably that's the first thing we need to fix. Let's SSH into the machine 2. Let's take a look at what we have. So we have this Redis container that I'm going to nuke, and then I'll run this Ansible thing again. I do have it's my own. It's a programmer network playlist. I mean, I just made this randomly for the stream. There's a huge mixture of metal and rock and stuff in there. All right, so that has executed correctly. So if we take a look at Redis here, so it should be up, right? It says no databases. That, yeah, crap. So yeah, of course, because it's in memory, right? And we haven't set up the Redis to preserve anything, because Redis does have this the way to preserve and then load the last active cache, I believe, from the drive. Let me show you. Just 1 sec. That is just a part of it. Part of them are in the basement because my room is becoming. I have a small kid as well and stuff, so I need to start packing this shit up. Okay, so one thing that I dislike here, right, and we need to fix that, right, is, okay, so let's focus now. I've been spending a lot of time on chat, which is lovely. Please don't take me wrong. Like, let's make sure that we get somewhere. So let's just recap. So yesterday I continued streaming after 3 months. We started writing this. We started working on setting up this physical bare metal Kubernetes cluster that you can see here. And yesterday we have basically set up the Ansible, which is a Python tool for automation. If you don't know, basically Ansible allows you to write these playbooks, which are filled with tasks, which run in parallel, and then you can automate things. So for example, just because we have the cluster of 4 Raspberry Pis that you can see here next to each other in the bottom piece of the rack, you can see that it's quite redundant to do things one by one. So for example, when I was setting these 4 Raspberry Pis, I would SSH into Raspberry Pi 1, install K3S Kubernetes, do this X, Y, Z. As basically as, so right now, then when you do that once manually, you realize, shit, if this was 8 computers, now I would have to repeat the same thing 8 times, or n number of times depending on the machines. So yesterday we have learned a little bit more about Ansible. We learned the basics, and then this morning I learned a little bit more. So the difference is that now I have these host variables, and these host variables basically are a way to define all of your host-specific variables. So these are my 4 Raspberry Pis. And then in the playbooks now I can, in my inventory, which is almost like a hosts file, this is where you define your machines, your computers. You can see here now I can just reference things like this. So basically it's reusable. I don't need to rewrite the, IP, XXXX, right? And then repeat the stuff. So I can now just reference these host variables from within each host YAML file, and we reference them by the name, right? So RP1 would be this variable, RP1 would be this file, you get the point. So that was one of the things that I did off stream. Then additionally, I made a lot more playbooks. These playbooks are basically, again, scripts that you execute that then Ansible in parallel can apply specific things or run specific code on these Raspberry Pis in this case, based on the hosts that you give it here. And these hosts are defined in the inventory, as I said. So you can see all nodes means for me, all Raspberry Pis. Then I have the worker nodes. So these are the nodes, all nodes apart from the main node in the cluster. And then I have Postgres and Redis group. These are called groups. I named them like this. And this is my Raspberry Pi 2. This is where we installed Postgres and Redis outside of the cluster, because you don't want to manage, you don't want to have a database really as part of the Kubernetes. That's very painful. And then you can see in here, like for example, here, this is apt update. So you can just say, hey, what I want to do, Ansible, please, in parallel, do apt update and upgrade on all of my 4 machines, right? So we can say Ansible, right? So you can see I provided I say Ansible playbook, which is a binary. I give it an inventory file where my hosts are located. And then I run and run apt update. So I hit this, right? So it's going to do some implicit tasks, like it's going to gather some things about the hosts. And then now it's running apt update. Then it's going to do apt upgrade. And then if everything went fine, it's going to basically, so you can see upgrade all packages. So now it's running apt upgrade. And then if everything's fine, we're going to get these statuses, right? So if I actually individually SSH, let's say into RP1, which is my master node, and I say sudo apt update, you will see that it's going to not do anything, right? Because our Ansible has sorted that for us already. So you can see how much this basic automation can help. So right now with one command, I have done SSH'd into every single computer and ran 2 of these commands, right? And then you can see I went through the README that I wrote months ago, and then I just turned a lot of these repetitive things into the Ansible stories. So you can see we want to disable swap memory, for example, on all of these Linux machines. We want the performance to be deterministic, right? So we don't want to have swap. We want to disable Wi-Fi because all of the devices, all the hosts are actually plugged through Ethernet into the Ethernet switch, right? So we don't need Wi-Fi to run for no reason. Enable memory groups. Memory groups are basically a way on Unix machines for the machine to be able to allocate resources to each individual container. So basically C groups are a fundamental concept in Docker. Without C groups, things wouldn't work as they work today, right? So if we actually go here, we can see that if we search for C groups, I think I wrote that. You can see control groups are a Linux kernel feature that allows you to allocate resources such as CPU time memory, and more among user-defined groups of tasks. K3 requires memory C groups to be enabled to better manage and restrict the resources that blah, blah, right? So in simple words, it's a component, think of it, that Kubernetes can use to kind of allocate memory to each individual container or pod or whatever, right? So a simple analogy, imagine you live in a house with multiple people, processes, and there are limited resources like time, space, and tools. Without a system in place, one person might hog the vacuum cleaner all day, CPU time, basically, metaphorically, while someone else fills the fridge with their own stuff, memory, right? So with chore schedule C groups, you ensure everyone gets an allocated time with the vacuum cleaner, some space in the fridge, and so on, right? So that's why we need to, before we install Kubernetes K3S on these devices, we need to do this, right? I didn't invent this. This was ChatGPT. I don't know like about the firmware or Linux or kernel, whatever. But basically, what this Ansible thing does, it opens this file, right? So we can open it manually, right? In one of the Raspberry Pis. And as you can see, it looks like this. So you can see we have appended at the end here. You can see we appended this C group, right? This C group thing, right? Anyway, okay, great. So that's kind of a recap, right? So the point being, we have a bunch of playbooks now which make things a lot easier. And basically what we've done yesterday in a stream, we've set up Postgres and Redis outside of the cluster because we want it we don't want it as part of the cluster. But what I can see as soon as I restart the device, because we're running the Docker run, as you can see here, this is basically the container is not gonna automatically stop again. So what we need to do, we need to give this thing to a ChatGPT and probably say, hey, how about you always run this thing? What we could also additionally maybe do, when I'm thinking now, do we actually have, if I SSH into RP2, do we have Docker Compose? I mean, also running Docker Compose. Yeah, let's go to my own, I'm using OpenAI key, so I have my own UI. Ensure that the Docker, that the Postgres container automatically runs even after reboot. And we're gonna do the same with yeah, exactly. It's the always that we need to add, right? Restarts. Yeah, we'll need to test this now, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna smack this fella in here, right? I am already SSH'd here, so let's take a look at our containers. So Docker container PS. So we have both of them running basically. So we have the Postgres here. So Docker container, was it stop, right? Yeah. And then Docker container RM. PS. So yeah, we killed it. So now if we exit and run this Ansible thing, set up Redis, set up Postgres, right? This one. Let's see if that's gonna work. And oh my God, look who is here. It's quite funny that you guys keep coming back. It's amazing. How are you doing, Spectrum Man? How is life? We haven't spoken in a long time. I didn't build my own UI. I'm using LobeChat. It's way cheaper to use OpenAPI key than paying $20 a month. So you can see this month so far I have spent 80 cents on ChatGPT, and I have unlimited amount that I can interface with. I have set $120 a month limit, so it's way cheaper than to just pay for an OpenAI key than paying the ChatGPT. Keep in mind. And LobeChat is an open source thing that you can set up on Vercel or anywhere else. It takes like 2 seconds. So you can basically just go down and set up Vercel and then set up a custom domain, right? or you can post it yourself anywhere, right? So you can just click here, deploy your own version, add your custom domain, create a CNAME record or a record, whatever, on your DNS, and then you have what I have here, AI.program. So I didn't build anything. I've just deployed this to Vercel and then added a custom domain and added my own API key, right? Also possible, exactly. You share the subscription. Fair enough, fair enough. You have said something before. Sorry, man, there was a huge discussion. What did you say? Let me scroll up. Oh, hi, Alex. Love your new setup. Is it a new setup? I mean, then maybe you haven't been here in a while. I think, well, okay, I didn't stream for like 3 months or whatever, but yeah, I think it was kind of like this for a while. Yeah, this is a little bit frustrating, but let's fix it and then we're going to figure it out. So basically, we need to make sure that on the host machine, Python is installed and then Python Docker or something works. So let's see if this is going to work now. Ensure Python 3 and pip are installed. So let's see if that's going to work. All right. So it does work, it seems. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So, so if we go actually here on my host machine and if we refresh this, does this Postgres thing still exist? Let's go here. Let's create another car. No, it doesn't work actually. Ansible, exactly. It needs the module Ansible Docker or something like that. Yeah, but this doesn't work, does it? Test database. What the fuck is happening? No, it's not up. No, it's not running. So why did we get a positive from... that's not good. So why did the... Yeah, that's a bit weird. Let's see again. Start and enable Docker. Ensure Docker network exists. So there is a container, it seems, right? But it exited. Why? Postgres database directory appears to contain a database. Skipping initialization. Restart requires a value. Give me 1 second. So if we go to restart, it has always value, exactly. So what the hell? So weird, right? Okay, let's give it a chat to the AI. Okay, maybe, yeah, it's probably a syntax thing, right? Yeah. Right? What fuck is happening, bro? Yeah, but that's what we have, right? No? Okay, let's try again. Exit it again, right? Like this, right? Yeah, let's try that. Maybe. That's not a bad idea, right? Let's try that. So weird. Shit, it exited faster than the speed of light. Unrecognized command. Yeah, so Docker provides restart policies to control whether your container starts automatically when they exit. Let's try it like this, right? It's probably some sort of a line type of thing, the way that it parses this command or whatever, right? Yeah, seems fine now. Let's see. Let's see on my host machine, on my local machine here. Yeah. Let's just do this dummy shit. Yeah, all good. Yeah, great. So let's restart this computer. Let's restart the RP2, right? So let's say a sudo reboot, and let's see if Postgres is gonna boot when this boots, right? So that's fine, right? That's cool. That works now. It's just weird. So why would the network then work? Or does it even work? I guess it does. So weird. Okay. What are you trying to accomplish? Yeah, it's a little bit broad question. You mean like now at this very moment, or what are we doing today in the stream? I'm running everything is in the README. Everything is in the document here. On the top of the chat, you have the document. So that's the baseline of what we're doing basically now. We are writing probably the most comprehensive guide eventually is going to be this. That's my goal. I would really like to achieve that. No worries. All right. Becca is here. Okay, so it did start automatically, so that's good. And yeah, so we're good. We're good at, in fact, right? If we take a look at this, let's try to make more cars. Nice. Yeah, that's super. Okay, good. Good. Great. So we need to do the same with the, actually, yeah, I'm not super, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could have used Docker Compose, but then, you know, whatever. Okay. So let's just say, given that, well, actually, no. I guess we need to pretty much do the same here, right? So for the Redis, right? We'll just do the same. We're gonna just smack this big boy here, Docker run, restart always, right? So that's what we're gonna do there. We're gonna actually we're already there. So ps shit, that's not what I wanted. Okay, great. So because this guy is not running anyway, so that's perfect. So we're just gonna run this other Ansible playbook. Just wanna run the Redis one, right? And hopefully it's gonna do the same. Then we're gonna reboot that machine again. And then we're gonna see what happens. Shit. Ah, I know. We need to remove the old container, right? It didn't like that, so let's try that again. All right, that's beautiful. So let's just lastly reboot, and we should be done with this, at least for now. So let's wait for that machine. So basically for this one from the left, so the second one, that's where our database is going to be. And we then have to mount the drives. Fuck, let me actually plug the other drive in it. 1 second. Alrighty, that's pretty awesome. So now we have both hard drives. So we're going to try to make some sort of a RAID setup or whatever. I don't think I've done this at least past decade. Maybe when I was younger I've done it, but not recently. So what would be super cool, so we now have two drives plugged in there, right? I would suggest you aliasing reboot to sudo power off reboot. Reason being version of Debian being used. Okay, fuck. I mean, you're way better at that, man, than me. I am, so I should probably do that, yes. Okay, give me a second. Let's go to our to-do here. So we're not ready for this yet, but what we are ready for is we need to mount these drives, right? So how can I do that? So let's go to our AI. Let's create a new chat, and let's say here I need to mount 2 drives on my Raspberry Pi. How do I do that? I don't remember the commands, to be very frank with you. I've done this probably a million times in my life. Yeah, exactly. It's probably gonna ring a bell. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So let's run this binary. So what do we have? We have so this is our so this is the so this guy here. So this guy here is my my micro SD card, right? This is where operating system is running. And then these 2 guys are the hard drives that I just plugged in, right? So there's 1 terabyte one. And then there's this one, which is 500 gigabyte, right? So actually when, oh fuck, sorry, I thought you're seeing my screen. Noobs, okay. All right, cool. So basically we need to create some arbitrary directories and then mount the drives to these, but aren't these disks already mounted in theory, right? I mean, right? I mean, they are mounted already. At least that's what it seems to me here, no? Man, like Obi. So let me tell you a story, right? So if we go to the cluster, right? So in ideal scenario, right, you would have a switch that has a proper voltage on power over Ethernet, right? So in perfect scenario, these Raspberry Pis would be basically powered through the power over Ethernet, right? So, but to get the switch that has capability of providing so much power to power at least these 4 and then additionally maybe 4 in the future, you need to spend at least 500 to 600 euros minimum on a proper switch, right? And I didn't want to make this setup too convoluted because then nobody would be able to replicate this because it would cost too much. It already costs too much, right? So, and I agree with you. I mean, these fucking plugs that these guys from Raspberry Pi made, they're disgusting. You can see that. So what I'm actually going to do, this week, most likely, let me show you, is I'm gonna order. So I need these rack rails, right? So I'm gonna order maybe 4 of those, and then I'm gonna mount them. I'm gonna mount the top power supply in the back of this 4-unit rack, right? So basically, I'm gonna remove it from there, so it's not in the front. So at the very least, it's gonna be all the way back where this other power supply is at the back. This is like a smart power supply. I'm measuring how much electricity this uses, right? And I think it's using around 25 watts right now. So anyway, this I'm gonna order most likely this week, and then just mount some of this shit in the back. Okay, cool. They're mounted, but not really mounted. Okay, I have no idea what that means. So let's see. Let's actually literally give them generic names. I don't know how to name them. So let's say MMTN drive 1, right? Drive 2. And then we're going to do this, right? And then I guess we're going to do something like this. Pseudo mount, I guess SDA, right? Like this, I suppose, right? But I don't see where is the SDA one. Ah, I see. Sorry. And then what's going to be the next one? It's going to be SDB1, right? Ah, I see. I see. Yeah, but this is wrong. Isn't this wrong? No, it should have been SDA2, right? Yeah, so that's wrong, right? Should we format this shit or something? How do we format this? How can we make new partitions here? These are 2 disks that I want to format, ensure proper partitions, and then mount. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. So this is what we're gonna do. Fair enough. Fair enough. So we're gonna do the So I guess we can do this, right? Okay, how do we unmount? How can I unmount it? Okay, try that again. Welcome to have this changes. Okay. Partition number. What is this? Which partition I want to delete? I guess all of them, right? So then we do this. Okay. Partition number. What the fuck is partition number? Specify the partition type. 1. Okay. I have no idea what the fuck is happening. Last sector, I don't know. Okay, so here it is. That's good. That's good, right? Cool. And then we do the same with this guy, right? So this would be SDB, right? Dev SDB. This one, right? And then we do D1, D2, D3. Partition 3 has been deleted. Okay, cool. We create a new partition. We proceed with the defaults, right? And then we save. Cool. So that worked, right? And then we do the MKFS, right? So we're going to do... Yeah, so we're going to do sudo mkfs.text for dev sda1. Hopefully this is not going to take a year, because it's formatting an empty drive. So let's see. Okay, cool. And then we do the same here, right? We do SDB1. Okay. How can I now put these 2 disks in RAID? Because I want the Postgres data to be duplicated on both. Nice. Shit. Very good. This should not be that complicated, right? Okay, so there's gonna be... so there's gonna be some virtual, let's call it, so some RAID. So we will use, basically, I suppose... So I guess, so when we create a RAID, we're gonna mount something to the RAID itself, right? And then we're gonna always use that path, the RAID path, right? Am I wrong? My best man, good evening. Hi. Hi. But give me a second. Let's make sure that this is finished, okay? So this is cool. So now we have a single partitions. That's what I wanted. All good. And now we can mount them, right? But I don't want to do that yet. Give me a second. I have no idea what that means, Chica. That uses copy and write. I see. Let me discuss it with this guy. BTRFS B-tree file system is a modern Linux file system that... Jesus Christ, wait. Let me just scroll down. Okay, let me read. I don't know what it is. I need to learn before I can make any. It's a modern Linux file system that offers advanced features including snapshots, create read-only and writable snapshots of your data, backups, nice, sub-volumes, organize data into independent mountable sub, I don't care, in-place conversion and balancing, seamlessly convert existing file system while I don't care, enhance data integrity, I do care, error checking mechanism, self-healing, yeah. For setting up mirrored storage similar to RAID 1B, RTFS offers built-in RAID capabilities that can be more flexible than me. However, BTF is also known for being more complex and in some cases less stable. Alright, forget it. I don't care. Let's not overcomplicate it. I have a question to you Linux guys. So let's imagine that I plug two other entirely different drives now into my Raspberry Pi. Will they always be named the same by default? So will they always have these names? So say that I take two other... Hardconer, good evening, buddy. Good to see you as well. Depends on discovery order. But okay, but they might be in a different order, sure. But are the names going to be different? Because I want to automate this with Ansible, and I mean, we could provide the disk names at the very least. Because I want to really automate now this whole process with Ansible, right? Literally, from the moment of formatting them. Okay, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We will automate once it works. So let's I got it. Okay, thank you. Good. It's not my personal chatbot. It is, I'm using an OpenAI key, and this chatbot is an open source library called LobeChat. So yes, it's my own bot in a sense that I'm hosting my own interface, so I can use OpenAI key. So instead of paying $20 a month, $25 a month, I pay for the OpenAI key, and then I can use as much as I want. And it's very hard to spend $20 a month of ChatGPT. So actually this is also a lot cheaper, but there's no limit. I don't have a limit of messages I can send. I can chat to this guy all night long, right? My pleasure, man. My pleasure. If you want to save money, definitely go with this. Actually, because you asked, let me just give you a hand. So if you go to this repository, right, you can deploy this in one button click. So if you scroll a little bit down, and if you go to deploy with something, let's find the docs. So you can of course self-host this, which I don't suggest. There's some free. There's certain things are better if you self-host because you can then have file storage and stuff. And this is free. So you can come here, scroll down to this. You can click this deploy with Vercel, and this is fully free. So this is fully free. Once you deploy it, you can actually add your own custom domain, your own open API key as it's suggested here, and that's really it. One thing that you don't get here, unfortunately, which would be better if you actually do self-host, is you don't have files. So you'll see here, if I get over here, current deployment mode does not support files, right? So that is the downside, right? So for example, if I had a lot of PDFs now, I do this a lot with my RTX graphics card, right? I give it a lot of files and then I say, hey, can you help me with the finding out things in these files? But if you don't need this, this is pretty awesome. Okay, cool. So let's continue with this. I'm sorry. So we're not going to go with this different file system, this BTRFS. Thank you very much for mentioning it. I haven't heard about it. Where are you from? I'm originally from the Balkans, but I've been living in Scandinavia, in Denmark for many years. Actually, in Scandinavia, in Denmark, I've been for 8 years. In Sweden for around 5. So basically, past around 13, 15 years, been in Scandinavia. I'm originally from Bosnia. I'm Serbian from Bosnia, originally. Okay, so let's see what is this. Do you like crypto? I mean, do I like crypto? When I can use it for something, then I will like it. Right now, it has no purpose to me. It's meaningless. Chica, actually, believe it or not, I'm making that joke at work here. I have a friend, Mieszko, a Polish guy. And, you know, Poles, just like Balkan people, are crazy. So he's been telling me for around 10 years that this is the year of crypto. And he keeps saying this every other year. So next year is going to say, it's this year. It's this year, right? So these crypto people are very... I have another friend at work, Guga from Brazil. He's a Brazilian. He also swears in crypto. Look, I think, let's just be short. I hate banks as well. I think that the whole banking system fundamentally is wrong. We are all in debt. We're all fighting each other, killing each other, but nobody asks, why do I need a loan for everything? So that is a common and reasonable question, and there I agree. But I'm also a realist. I'm not a optimist, pessimist. I'm a huge realist, right? So right now, the fact is, with crypto, you can only wipe your asshole or make or lose money, right? So right now, it has zero function. It's function of nothing, right? When I can have crypto and travel with it and pay shit with it, then I'll say yes. So it's not a matter of what I think about it. Sure, you can pay some things. Okay, great. That's probably a huge step forward than it was before. But the point being is, fighting a battle against banks is a very tough game, right? It's the same with the oil industries. It's the same with weapon industries, right? It's like, should we stop wars? You know, it's not that easy, right? You have this number one industry in the world is selling weapons, right? So you want to stop wars? Yeah, I do. Good luck, man. You might think that wars are led for wrong reasons. But, I mean, when you look at the statistics on Google, top 3 industries are weapon, oil, and pharma, right? So there's and of course finance is there, right? So fighting these battles is very difficult, right? Very difficult. Okay, so we're gonna set up this raid thing. Get Goofer. Good evening. Thank you for sending your first message, man. I appreciate that. Why is this installing so slow? Is it like unpacking something, generating boot? Oh shit. Who do you think wins in the America? I don't honestly give a shit. I don't care. Does it really matter? Do these presidents in the US or anywhere else for that matter are really asked anything, right? You know, foreign policy, American foreign policy is always constant. It's war, right? So unless somebody is going to win, because I live in Europe, right? So for me, the question is, what is it going to be impact for us in Europe? Probably none, right? Probably in the America, for people who live there, they care about who wins, right? So, I mean, I don't honestly care. I mean, it's pretty disgusting. America became a very different country, right? And I mean, a choice between the two candidates today and 4 years ago and 8 years ago, it's quite depressing, right? So I wouldn't say, I mean, that's really democracy, right? I mean, I can tell you one thing, right? I mean, for those of you who know me, right, I'm from the Balkans, right? So I lived through a war in the 90s in the Balkans. And I was a small kid, I was 4 years old, and I saw people dead on the streets, and my mom carrying me while I'm running on the street saying, "Mom, I don't feel my legs." You know, I have a lot of trauma from that. So a lot of you guys on the internet who maybe haven't had such experiences, your perception of these wars is very different. Ukraine has to keep fighting, I don't know, Israel, this and that. But fundamentally, man, you have to understand that people are dying every day, right? And when you're a small child and when you're seeing people dead on the street, you don't give a shit about America's, Europe's, Russia, and whatever. You just want to survive, right? So the lack of empathy on the internet and lack of understanding of these conflicts is what's fundamentally wrong, right? I just want people there to stop dying, right? It doesn't really matter when you're dead. Who cares, right? So these internet warriors, Twitter warriors, Reddit warriors who are like, kill these evil orcs or do this, it's fundamentally wrong, man. Because you have to understand that it's easy to sit on your shitty chair at your shitty fucking home on your fucking laptop and cheer for one side or the other. But fundamentally, man, you have to understand that if you are sent there for 10 minutes just to live through that tragedy, you would not talk about it, right? So these internet warriors, if Trump wins, he is going to stop the war. Why would you stop the war? It's like, just don't talk about it, man. You don't know it. You haven't experienced it. You haven't lived it. I have lived it, and I wouldn't wish it to anyone, ever. It's the biggest tragedy of the world, especially for kids and women and people who are, right? It's hard, man. And I lived it, and I still have trauma from it. So it's better that you don't know about it. It's easy to sit on the internet and act badass. Go take the fucking gun, right? And go there for 10 seconds. And then you will not dare to have opinions, right? So let's just hope that that war stops. Either way, I don't care who wins, under quote. People have to win, right? People have to survive, and I'm empathetic towards people. No people from Russia or Ukraine want to go and die. I remember when they mobilized my dad in the 90s in the Balkans. A truck comes in front of your house. You have 5 minutes, pick a toothbrush, kiss your wife, your kids, and get the fuck out. This is what you don't understand. You're watching too many Hollywood movies. You think there's some brave Ukrainians, brave Russians, brave Americans. No sane person goes to war, man. No sane person goes to war. No sane person leaves their kids and wife or a partner at home and then wonders for months, days, are they alive? Have they been raped, killed, bombed, right? So I suggest all of you who are here to not talk about it because you don't know. It's very tough, I can tell you that. Anyway, very depressing. Sorry. But that's how it works. You don't see that on the TV. But I remember when they mobilized my dad, my wife's father was shot in the head, and he was dead. So trust me, you don't wanna know that. You don't wanna know. Okay, let's go back to this. Yeah, okay. So I guess we can do this now. Sudo mdm create verbose blah 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 is the virtual disk for the RAID array. Specifies RAID 1. So what are these RAID levels? How many RAID levels are there? And what each one of them means? Anyway, just my perception, right? That's just how it is, man. Very depressing. I'm sorry, but I've experienced something that I hope that nobody experiences, and it's not for human beings to go through these things. So nobody should. You hope that countries learn from the history of others, but unfortunately, that doesn't happen. RAID redundant array of independence disk is technology that combines multiple disk drives into a single unit for increased performance, readability, or both. Actually, so we're gonna go with metal load balancer. That's what I researched. So we're gonna go with this guy. I think I haven't gotten to that yet, but we'll definitely go to this. We'll definitely, most probably, either Nginx for Ingress or this, right? Probably not traffic, right? Probably either Nginx or MetalDB. The only one that I have experience with is Nginx. RAID 0, data is split across multiple disks. Each disk contains a different portion of data. Mirroring, okay. Data is duplicated, that's what we need. Yes, RAID 1. Striking with parity, data and parity error checking information are spread across 3 or more disks. Parity information allows data to be reconstructed. Okay, so RAID 1, pretty much, right? So keep in mind, get Gopher. I'm a complete beginner at Kubernetes. I'm not an expert. Throughout the journey of these few of these streams, the idea is that we. So I've started that repository that you can see that I linked. So I'm not a DevOps engineer. I'm not a system. I used to do that a lot in my career, but I'm a full stack engineer, right? But the point is, so all of your questions are incredibly reasonable, and actually I'm going to write it down because it seems that based on your question that you know something that I don't. So please keep asking questions. I definitely need people to ask questions because I don't know. The question is, I don't know. I'm not going to have a database. I'm not going to host databases as part of the Kubernetes. They're going to be completely separated from Kubernetes. So keep in mind, our Redis and Postgres are not part of the Kubernetes, right? So I'm not going to be hosting the database as part of Kubernetes, mainly because I spoke to my own sysadmins and DevOps guys at work, and I spoke to many friends who do that job, and they say, if you don't want to get depressed, don't put database as part of the Kubernetes cluster because of the fundamental nature of the technology itself, right? So yeah. So that's kind of what I got from them, right? How important do you all think technologies like K3S for a full stack software engineer usually is? I mean, you know, I work as a tech lead, and many past 5 to 7 years I've been working as a team lead, tech lead. Probably next role is going to be a CTO or something like that. So for me as a technical lead, and that's where my career is really going, so I'm not going to go staff engineer, I'm going to go probably more into management. I think for me personally it matters because you need to, at least for the stakeholders, at least for the discussions, at least for making reasonable business decisions, you probably want to know how things work. Do you need to know what I'm doing here? Like all of this stuff? No. But I think it's really fun and important to have an end-to-end picture of how things work, right? Because you're very protected in GCP, in AWS. Things are abstracted away for you. You're basically, things are hidden behind the dashboards and stuff like that. So I think it's these few video series, and then I'm going to actually turn this into a YouTube long video. I'm going to record this course once we are done. We have a lot of things to do. I just started streaming again yesterday. I think it's important it's probably good for you to know. Is it important? No. Do you must know it? No. But it can definitely give you a good understanding of how your infrastructure works, all the way from the networking layer to the actual, I don't know, service or whatever. Cloud native. Yeah, I've actually seen this cloud native. No, I'm not going to use Longhorn. No. I mean, the thing is, we're going to start somewhere, right? So this is I've actually seen this before. I don't know where, but I've seen it. Let's just write all of these things down. For now, we're just going to set up. So think about this, right? So let me just show you. So this is our cluster, right? This is our Raspberry Pi cluster. This guy here. So that guy there is where we're going to host. So all of them are running worker nodes, and this Raspberry Pi 1 is a master node. We're going to run the database there, but not as part of the cluster. So think about it that this database was a managed database, right? I might even at one point, because right now, for those of you who don't know, this stream is about Programmer Network. I have built a platform for programmers. Hopefully some of you guys can sign up if you want. So basically this right now is hosted on Hetzner. So this platform, Programmer Network, is now hosted on Hetzner, and I'm hosting also bare metal on Hetzner, right? So fundamentally, if we manage to do this properly, I'm gonna move things from Hetzner to, and I'm very happy with Hetzner, don't take me wrong. It's amazing, been using them for 2 decades, but I wanna host Programmer Network here, right? Almost as a, I wouldn't say a selling point, but rather it would be pretty cool. It's very nerdy and geeky. Then encrypt data, so it's basically we're hosting the data and the whole platform here in-house, right? But does this have any reasonable logical implications to, is this reasonable what I'm doing? It's completely unreasonable. So I'm not doing this because of some initiative of, you know, exactly. But yeah, so okay. But that's the context. I just needed to give you the context. Okay, so let's go back here. So create a, no, that's not what I want. Okay, so this is what I want. Create a RAID array, right? So this is what we want to run. Very nice. I mean, these are Raspberry Pis 4B with 8 gigs of RAM, but the Raspberry Pis 5 are out, and I was sudo create verbose. Oh, no, actually, we have to SSH RP2. So let's see, create verbose. Okay, what does this mean? Dev SDA1 appears to contain the ext2f file system. This array has metadata at the start and may not be suitable as a boot device. If you plan to store boot on this device, please ensure. So basically, keep in mind, get Goofer, I'm not going to use this RAID for storage in Kubernetes. I'm going to use this for my Postgres to store data in RAID, right? So I want my Postgres and potentially Neo4j, whatever, right? So I want the RAID just so, because this is a, you know, a home setup, right? And these are literally consumer-based drives. So if one of them dies, right? Of course, I'm going to do some rclone and rsync. I'm going to clone this to some cloud as well, encrypt it and then sync it, right? But I want this to, I just happen to have 2 hard drives that I bought 10 years ago or more, 15 maybe. They've been in the drovers. They've been traveling with me for years, and I just want to make sure that both of them are running. So if one of them dies, that, you know, the data is still on another one. So it's not for the, it's basically just for the databases, right? Not for the, not for Kubernetes, right? This message you're seeing is a typical warning when creating a RAID, particularly because partitions you're using already contain a file system. Here's what each part means and what you might consider. File system detection has detected an existing. This usually indicates that these partitions have been formatted and perhaps used before. The note about metadata is informing you that MDADM is using default metadata might not be suitable for a boot device. And we don't need this as a boot device, so it's fine. There's a size discrepancy between the 2 partitions being larger. We'll base the array size on the smaller drive. Write in 10 byte map. This automatically labels large. What can I say, Goofer? Amazing feedback. I'm just gonna store all of your stuff because, yeah, it seems you know what you're talking about. So I'll just smack all of your comments here. My boot drive is an SD card, basically. So my boot is this, basically. It's literally an SD card. it's a pretty fast SD card, but it's what it is. It's what it is. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? It's very easy to fall into deep traps when doing these things, right? So it can be very dangerous because this project is a huge one, right? I mean, you'll see, like, I have a, I used to work as a Cisco engineer, right? So now we're going to be using MikroTik, right? You can see, you saw that my router is a MikroTik one. So there's going to be a lot of stuff, crazy stuff we can do on all of the layers of the network and stuff like that, right? So it's so important to have some very limited plan for now. I have a base idea of this. So basically, what is the eventual outcome for me? I want to be able, and by the way, I'm not going to use Helm yet because I still suck at Kubernetes. So I do want to explicitly write these YAML files manually, like choosing my, setting up a service, a deployment. So I don't want to use Helm yet because it would abstract things away from me, things that I don't understand yet, right? But fundamentally, what I want to do is be able to, in no time, create some services, maybe with 1 or 2 commands, generate an SSL automatically using Let's Encrypt or whatever, create some CNAME or whatever automatically via API or whatever on Cloudflare. So basically, I want to be able to say, hey guys, let's build some Go API and some website today or whatever, nodejs, whatever. It's like, sure, apply this template, boom, it's exposed, it's NAT is created on my router, and you can access it there already. I save something on my computer. You guys using Tilt, this tool for developer experience, boom, you can see the change on your end, right? So this is the eventual outcome. So there's going to be a lot of work on Cloudflare's side as well, and making sure to, just as I do for Programmer Network now on Hetzner, only allow traffic from Cloudflare IP ranges. So we're going to have to set unified firewall, and so there's so many things, right? So we need to be careful not to go crazy, right? Now, the only thing that worries me, and some of you who actually know this, tell me. So basically, because one hard drive is 1 terabyte, and one hard drive is 500 gigabytes, aka half terabyte, because I guess that's what I just learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, because of the RAID nature of these devices, both hard drives now are going to only have 500 gigabytes allocation, right? Because that's what I understood. Am I correct? From ChatGPT. So because there's difference in size, it's always going to use the smallest one when creating the RAID, right? Maybe make 200. Okay. So, but that, when you say, so there's going to be 500 gigabytes free, there's going to be 500 gigabytes free that we can sometimes in the future allocate. I don't have to do it now, right? So let's imagine that I press continue now. Will I be able to still, if we need to, use this? Okay, good, because I don't think that we will ever need it, so that's fine. Then let's do it. So let's just review this. So we run this binary, we say create, we give it a verbose command to spit out some logs and shit. We say, I guess this is some virtual alias, I suppose. So this is going to be some sort of a path. This is going to be actually our drive, I suppose. And these two will be in the RAID 1, right? Okay. And it's telling us, hey, keep in mind, this might not be suitable for a boot, blah, blah, blah. It's okay. All right. Continue creating array. Okay. I need to very, very desperately save this in our gigantic thing, because we need to put this as part of our guide, right? why? Okay, so it was created. Okay, just before I lose this crap, give me 2 seconds. Install. Okay. Let's just. I still didn't commit a lot of these things. So, raid one setup or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. I'll need to spend. Yeah, it's the virtual disk. Okay, my assumption was correct. Okay, verify RAID array creation. Okay. All right, I'll pretend that, yeah, I understand that. This should show the RAID array status, indicating that it's syncing, initializing, or active. Active, okay, cool. Create a file system on the RAID array. Aha. Oh, interesting. Wow, okay. Format a new RAID array with a file system. Jesus Christ, okay. That's interesting. So we're formatting a virtual device. I wonder what does that do I wonder what will this actually format, because we are basically, this is almost like a pointer to a group, two things combined together. So, okay, interesting. Sudo mkfs xt4 dev. All right. Mount the array. Okay, so basically now we are looking at this almost like as a regular dry, right? I see no difference, right? Yeah, I see no difference, right? This is, you can, yeah, this now we're treating it. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, it's something to kind of assume logically, right? Yeah, it makes sense, right? All right, it's taking a little bit longer, but it's okay. Creating journal, okay. This makes total sense. I mean, so far I'm able to follow this part so far. So we have the RAID. We're gonna do the same. I'm gonna create a directory. We're gonna mount to that directory. And thank you everybody for your follows. Whatever, I always miss these things. Thank you. What is I see. And that's why it needs an ID. So it needs this. So it's using a UID 4, I suppose, right? So basically, that's why we're saying here, hey, get the UID. Yeah, yeah, to get this. So it's a UID, probably 4 or whatever. Code Crafters is some tool that kind of supported my stream. I mean, they gave me this infinite amount of time to use it. Yeah, it's basically a platform where you can. Yeah, you can see they gave me access for 10 years. Yeah, basically, it's a pretty. I think it's a pretty good good platform for. learning by building real type stuff, right? So for example, it's like build your own Git, build your own HTTP server. So you choose a language, whatever, and then they guide you to some of these lessons that you execute in your own computer, and then you get like instant feedback if you know. So you can see, for example, I want to do this in C, right? You choose a language. Hey, what is your proficiency in C? I'm, advanced, never tried. I'm a beginner. Okay. And then you choose, you set some of these this metadata, whatever. How long are you going to be, blah, blah. And then you start building that. So it's fundamentally a way to, I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I think these are, to some degree, are you ever going to have to build your own DNS server? Of course not, right? But I think you gain two benefits here. One benefit is that you're learning a language of some kind, and then you're building, for example, a DNS. You might not even know what a domain name server is, right? So by doing this, for example, you're going to learn actually what a DNS is, and then you're going to also learn the language while doing it. So I think that's quite interesting, right? Fuck, why is this taking so long, man? Okay. Maybe one of the disks is just slow or whatever. Let's see, identifying file systems. All right, but cool. So hopefully that's going to finish so we can finish it up. So yeah, so now we're running the format, right? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. As I always said in this stream and throughout all of these years, the best way to learn anything is to do, I can give you countless examples from my experience past 15, 20 years is I used to do so many things. I used to, even Kubernetes that we're doing now, I used to try it and learn it partially when it came out. But the biggest enemy of learning these things is inability to continuously use it, right? So if you, for example, sit now with me here, you learn some Kubernetes, you learn this shit, and then you never touch it again, it's not like programming. You need to remember all of these commands and all of these configuration files, all of these. So it's not the concepts that you're going to forget. It's like you're going to forget where these things are. What are these libraries for? What are these binaries for? How do I mount a disk? How, right? So unless you do that every day, so that's exactly why I want to have this cluster running 24/7 for years, is because I figured that that's the only way that I'll be able to keep these skills under control, because I will have to, or at the very least, have the ability to play with it, right? Yeah, I mean, at work, I work as a tech lead, and I mostly build APIs and UIs, right? And we are a GCP partner at Dream Data, right? So even if I wanted to do this, which I could, we're using GCP, and in GCP everything is a lot higher level and very abstracted out, right? So in GCP, you want a gateway, you go and choose a gateway. You want to, right? So it's very hard to have a bare metal somewhere that you can play with, right? Luckily. I would never do this for my own business, right? Ever. The cluster is here. I mean, you can see it on the camera. This is the cluster, yeah. So there's 4 Raspberry Pis on the bottom. I don't emulate anything, no. So these guys in the bottom, the 4 guys are, and I'm probably going to get 4 eventually when they're cheaper, just for fun, but it's unnecessary. Man, I wonder. Wait, give me a second. It's almost like the disk is. Let me see if the disks are actually working. 1 second. Yeah, I actually think that they are. I think just one of these guys is actually a hard drive. It's Western Digital something. So I think it's a pretty slow drive. Give me a second. Let me actually check what it is. All right, I took a picture of this one of these drives. Let's see what it is. Seems to be probably slow. It's making a very strange sound. Let's see. Western Digital DCB GCA, I think. DCB GCA. DCB GCA. Super old disk. Give me a second. VDBUZ. I misspelled that 100%, but Western. You have a new notification on Programmer Network. Huh. Is this site maintained? It's definitely maintained. Yeah, maybe we need to update. Yeah, it's definitely updated. I'll check it out. We check it out together. Let me just... Okay, never mind. I'm just worried. I don't know if I guess we would get some error if the drive is in trouble or whatever. But right now we're not getting anything. So, crap. We're kind of stuck there until this finishes, right? I haven't been on here or site in a couple of months. Yeah, I haven't been streaming, man, for 3 months until yesterday. So I haven't been doing much work. Let me actually try. Probably I need to update some GitHub API or whatever. Repositories. I don't think so. Let's see. So no, I don't think it did, no. What was this command? L something. Yeah. So I don't see, right? So I don't see the disk. It's also great to see you, man. Spectra used to work with me in Programmer Network. He wanted to offer help. He's done amazing things. Spectra has built most of the notification system you see. It's been built by him. I miss you a lot, man. You did a lot of great things. Hopefully one day when you have more time, you can join again and help out. You did a great work. I'm very proud of you. Oh, this is the raid. Here is the raid, right? So I guess we're still... I think it is running, right? Yeah. I mean, I can literally hear the hard drive like dying. I can hear the cylinders. It's an HDD. I think one of them is SSD, another one is HD. I can literally hear the cylinders moving inside. Blah, blah. Well, give me 1 second. So we'll see. We might actually move programmer network platform from Hetzner to this cluster, right? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's learn. There's a lot of things we need to learn, and then ensure they're safe, ensure they're done properly. So these next couple of streams are going to be about making the best guy on the internet to do this with Raspberry Pis. That's why I started this. So if you give a shit to any of you, just make sure to give it a star and some love. But the idea eventually here, I have a lot of things past 2 days that we've done that I haven't committed yet. But the idea is that, yeah, we document this whole journey so somebody can mimic this and learn from this in a very tangible, practical way. Because a lot of these courses you can buy on Udemy, a lot of the courses you can buy anywhere really. The only thing that they lack, they're amazing courses, but they lack practical stuff, right? And I don't know, for me, having this tangible thing here, like having the actual hardware, the network, all of the stuff in here, it just makes it more real, right? It just makes it a bit more real. Come on, you can do it. Let's actually go to Amazon. I mean, this would be a lot faster. I don't know what are the speeds that the Raspberry Pi can. Yeah, I'm using it now through USB as well, but of course M2 would be a lot faster, right? I don't remember, man. There's an actual PCB. I don't remember the name, but there was a PCB where you can smack in like 3 SSDs. You can make like your own NAS and stuff with it. I think it's something like this, right? Yeah, actually this one, I think Jeff has done something great here, right? Yeah, it's this thing, yeah. So this is a pretty awesome thing, right? This is a pretty awesome thing. 5 amperes. It is. They have the Raspberry Pi. I mean, I don't have a Raspberry Pi 5. All of mine are 4 here. So basically, I would need to get this thing, right? That's a strange website there. What the hell is this website? This is very cheap. It's maybe 40, 50 euros. But that's not what I want. Or is it? Nah. So where can I buy this? Say that we want to order that right now. Where can I buy this crap? Buy, okay. Oh, buy? Amazon. Yeah, but that's American Amazon, right? Ah, yeah, there's this, but this is M2, right? And that's a bit too much. That costs too much, right? I mean, to buy 4 M2s, right? This would cost like 500 euros. It's ridiculous. And that defeats the purpose of this project that we're doing, right? I mean, if I want to do that, I'll buy an actual 1 rack server here and smack it in properly, right? So, man, it's so hard to sometimes spend money when you're in Europe. It's like I can't even buy this shit. AliExpress, maybe I can buy it here. Yeah, it's just AliExpress. I don't know. I don't have much faith in these services, but I guess. And I don't know when the fuck is it gonna arrive to Denmark. It's like November 21st, December 5th. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, I don't care that I would have to wait for it. It's just like it takes a month to get here. Yeah, crap. This, yeah. Oof. The orientation of this is not great, is it? This doesn't look very stable. Look at this drive, how it's like... it's kind of tilted a little bit. But yeah, maybe I could get a Raspberry Pi 5 and then get this hat, right? And then get an enclosure for this, or maybe 3D print it. It's part of modern design. Look at this. Yeah, no worries. This is completely, your data is completely safe with Programmer Network. And then you show this. Hey, Alex, how do you handle the security of our data? It's like, no worries. It's all on this disk here. It's like your profile, Rebecca, on Programmer Network is on this disk here, only yours. You have your own dedicated database and a dedicated drive. Okay, but this is interesting. This is interesting, right? So say that we buy, let's calculate how much money I would need to spend. So this comes with all of the shit, right? So let's kind of calculate this. So let's say here, ROCP Penta SATA hat plus RP5 plus enclosure, right? So let's see how much would this cost. Maybe we can order this crap. Oh crap, it's not in stock. Are you kidding me, bro? Yeah, you're not kidding me, actually. Shit. Sold out. I'm just kind of killing a little bit of time while waiting for this, so... Search an alley for it, I see. Ah. Yeah. This is double the price. What the fuck is this different in prices? This is 100 something euros. I mean, I need to be a bit reasonable. It's just, I mean, come on, man. Come on, dude. Can buy a used NAS with 4 drives for that. No. No, I don't think we can find this. There's this one, AllNet, but I don't know what is the difference. But this seems to be, yeah, with... Yeah, man, I don't know why is this... I don't know if it's stuck or is it still running. Yeah, it's still running, right? So let's give it more time. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I can hear the disk. I can hear the disk spinning, so it's okay. Wow, okay. Wow. All right, never mind. Fuck it. Let's forget that idea for now. Worst case again. Worst case, if this ever lives to see the light of the day, this project we're doing in a sense of the infrastructure, we can always go for things like this, right? Exactly. Just buy the real server. Exactly. Just. I mean, we can probably pay Hetzner for 25 years of all the money I already spent, right? So, Rebecca, don't put the salt in the wound, okay? Let's not be reasonable here, okay? So this is what I get, chica. Active RAID 1. So I actually don't know how to interpret this, honestly. That would probably be cheaper, yeah. Good content. Alex recording a video. I mean, guys, I have the time. If you guys are fine, let's just wait here for 93 days. I mean, it's not that we have to do anything better, right? Oh, what? Ah, mount directory. Sorry, my brain is what was it? What's the mount? Where is it? Like is it mount? No. Yeah, exactly. Just so what do we do, guys? Seriously, like something seems off, right? So it's gonna finish in 160,000 minutes. And the speed is 48 kilobytes per second. So it's like dial up that I had in the 90s, right? So yeah. So why is it so slow? It's actually increasing in time. So should we just stop this? I mean, I'm in all right? Yeah, I mean, did we do something wrong? And what happens if I stop it now? What happens if I just kill this process? Can I just kill this? Yeah, so I have to, which process is it? This one, right? The fuck is happening, man? Why can't I even kill it? This one, yeah, this one maybe. I mean, this thing is unkillable. Pseudo, okay? How do you kill that which has no life, right? Nope. Right. Okay, well, we're seeing less of the things. Yeah, I can hear the poor drive is just like crying. Alex, end my misery. Stop this. I'm doing 48 kilobytes a second. What is this 90s? That's literally like whenever I hear this cylinder, it's like poor drive. poor disk. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Alright, well, cancel RAID resync. That is too complicated for me, Jesus. So we can't even kill this, fellas. What if I end that SSH session? No, it's still running. Fuck, so what do we do, fellas? I'm out of ideas. Okay, I mean, we only have 160,000 minutes now, and it's increased by 2 kilobytes a second, right? So, I mean, maybe now it's 91 day, right? So that's good. We're progressing. Give me 1 second. I'll actually ask this guy how to do it. So where are we stuck? We're stuck at... This is where we're stuck, right? Most likely programmer network, but any other projects that we do over the years on this stream. But most likely programmer network, we could move it from Hetzner to here, right? But I don't know yet. I think it's probably the dry, right? So as far as I can see, my CPU is underutilized, right? Am I reading it right? Where's the CPU utilization? CPU is at 2%, right? So it's not doing anything. So it's not the CPU, right? It's not the CPU, right? Okay, let's try what the core is saying. Permission denied. What? Okay, so yeah, I think it's stopped now. I think it's stopped now, right? So I think it stopped. Yeah. Yeah, it stopped. Yep. Okay. Core, thank you. Let's write that down. Actually, I have it here, so I'll... So what do we do now? Should we try running it again just for the sake of it? Let's try running it once more, just to see what happens. We know how to kill it now, right? So let's try again, right? So actually... You would use the repair option to restart. Okay. So that's what they're telling us here, right? Repair, okay? Drive is busy or whatever. Okay, can we just sudo reboot? Let's try to reboot. Give me 1 second, I need to stretch. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, let's see. Can we SSH? Is it up? No. Exactly, I have 100% plugged them into USB 3.0. Let me actually check. Give me 1 second. Definitely 3.0. Can we try running this now? I don't know if repair would still work. Nope. It's definitely blue, yes. It's definitely blue. So let's try again. Let's try once more and see what happens. So where did we fail? We failed here, right? So we failed formatting the drive, right? Was that the case, right? This is where we failed. Not here. This succeeded successfully, right? So we failed formatting the actual drive, right? So this is where we failed. So let's try again. Dev does not exist. What the fuck? So yeah, so it's... Oh, so it's here now. It's called MD127. What? So MD, I guess, right? MD127. Why is it named differently? Okay, it finished. What? What the heck? What? So it's this one. This is the RAID, right? So how do we confirm that this works now or not, right? RAID is broken now, you say. Fuck my life. RAID is broken. But yeah, it just says, so it's supposed to say RAID here, right? And RAID here. Is that what you're saying? Right? It should say RAID here as well, right? Crap, so what do we do now? Shit, man. So do I nuke this now? Do I format this drive again? So I guess we need to format these drives now again, right? So we need to say this. So SDA, right? Format the SDA and SDC, I suppose, right? It's apparently used by the system. What are you talking about? It's not used by the system. No, this is my system here. This is my SD card. So no, not really, no. Oh, need to unmount the drive, right? Give me 1 second. How do I unmount? I guess sudo unmount, right? No. How do you unmount? That's what I wrote. No, it doesn't work. Umount. You can add the second drive to the. Let's try that. I would much rather attempt that, right? So wait a minute. What is the RAID device? So it's this one here, right? So it's this. So it's this one here, I believe, right? MD 127, right? And then the new drive is this one, SDAC1, right? Yeah. Permission denied, okay? Try sudo. All right. Well, they say both that they're in RAID now. So does that mean that they are in fact in RAID? And do we have to... Mad Dog, my friend, good evening. It's been months. We are just playing with Kubernetes and a lot more than that. And now I'm just trying to create a RAID setup. The resync probably started again. I see. What was the command? No, it's not. It didn't start again. So are we supposed to still... Are we supposed to still, to format it core, are we still supposed to do this? So are we supposed to do this again? I'm more concerned about bad blocks being a tunnel. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, it worked. What? It's so easy. Did it work? Shit. No, it didn't. Where's the other disc? The fuck? Isn't this supposed to be part of the raid? Isn't this supposed to be part of the raid? I don't get it. So is the Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling this is supposed to be part of the raid, right? It semi-worked, exactly. Re-added, right? So now it's gonna say this, right? But once we run the format, only one of them is in RAID. Why? So if we do this, let's try this one more time. 127, right? They're empty disks, right? Writing in node tables. Yes, sir. I think they are, Rebecca. They should be, yeah. We formatted both disks in the same way. Marv, hey man. Oh no. Oh no. Rebuild status 0 complete. Oh. Failed devices 1. I'm trying to kill it now again, as suggested by Core. So maybe one of the disks, right? So maybe one of the disks is just messed up, right? And that's okay. That is okay. It's just let's try to kill this again. Yeah, why can't I So I think we stopped it, didn't we? I think it should be stopped now, right? I'll try once more, but yeah, Marv, same dude, same. How did we kill it before? How did we kill this thing before? Didn't we set this? Yeah, I don't know how to kill it now again. All right, one more attempt at that, and then fuck it. Maybe one of the disks is actually faulty or something like that. I don't actually know. It's very interesting. Give me 2 seconds. All right. Okay, right? All right, right. So we want to format. So we want to unmount this, right? We want to say umount SDA, right? Or how do we do umount? What was it? Dev SDA. Not mounted. Okay. Not mounted. Okay, cool, right? Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to format them, right? Let's format them once more. So I'm going to say dev SDA. No, none of that seems to be mounted. So how the fuck do we format this now? It's becoming a little bit sudo md. What? So that doesn't work. So how the hell do we get out of this state now? Ah, I see. So this is what we need to do. Interesting. Stopped. Okay. Then we need to remove the RAID remains. No such file or directory. Okay. All right. All right. We're going to do the same with SDB, right? Right? So we got them now for like deleted, right? What the fuck, man? How is it used? That makes no sense. How can it be used by something else? Dev SD1 is apparently in use by the system. Will not make file system here. What are you talking about, dude? I don't know, man. I'm confused at this point. It still says RAID 1, even we fully removed it, right? So what the hell is happening, man? How is that even, how is that possible? No such file or directory. All right, so then we do this, right? Yeah, delete, write, that's fine, right? Let's take a look. So now interior, right? These two should be fully formatted, right? Let's do this once more. Delete. All right, let's reboot. So easy, right? So easy. Did we actually have anyone? No. I think I'll need to do that off stream. I mean, these discs are pretty old, but also not very used, right? So they were never like abused or anything like that, right? So yeah. Okay, so now we have cleaned them, wiped, like they're now fully wiped, right? In theory. So let's see now. So now we want to do this, right? Let's see. SDA. So dev SDA, right? Actually, no, I think we need to create partitions first, no? Because there's no partitions there now, right? Yeah, so I think that's what we forgot to do, right? So we do this, we say create a new partition, right? Yes, cool, whatever. Partition 1 contains a Linux RAID member signature, but how does it contain that? We literally fully wiped clean the thing. How does it still have traces of things? That's beyond me, right? How is that possible, right? How can it still contain things? Didn't we fully format this? It's so weird. Okay. So let's format these drives individually now. You're right. Okay, we do the same with the other disk, right? So with the... All right, right. So now we know they're formatted. Okay, sure, right? And now we need to create partitions, right? So let's create partitions on both disks. So I'm gonna do this guy, right? Yes. So we say new partition, right? So what do I do actually? So we say this, right? So we should at this point have a partition. We do, right? Okay, we do the same on the other drive, right? Yes. We say new, just the defaults, whatever. Write it, right? And then we should have, so we have two partitions now. Cool. Now we can run the medam blah, 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 right? So now we can run this crap and try again. So we want to create a RAID. Yes. Yes. All right. So now we have the RAID, right? Why do we have to do the format though? So we check the RAID status. So far, right, everything's correct. No, right. So right now MD0, so RAID is created, it's active, blah blah blah. Why do we have to run the format? Do we really have to even? Do we have to format it? Like, why do we have to do this? To create a file system, I guess, because there's none right now, or what? It's just a raw disk. Okay, fuck my life. All right. In that case, may God have mercy on our souls. If this fails, we're gonna round up the stream. Then I'll check the disks tomorrow after work, and then when I stream again, we'll do it. Because, yeah, it's 10 p.m. here. Watch an Ash. Oh, I love you, man. No, I don't think this is. I mean, this can only be the drives. I see nothing else being an issue here, right? And yeah, one of the drives. $44,000 minutes. 47,000 minutes. 49,000 minutes. 45,000 minutes. So why does it? What was the logs command that one of you gave me? Yeah, the speeds are just very. I mean, they're very. It's very slow for some reason. Why, I have no fucking clue. Right? It's just super slow. Yeah, so we need to stop this, right? We need to kill this crap. I don't know. I don't know honestly what this formatting does now, right? Yes, you're right that when we formatted both drives independently, we didn't have this problem. But once we start formatting the RAID, formatting RAID disk takes forever. Due to the speed limitations, I would suggest having non-rated drives. This way you can set up a time daily or several times a day when you know you want to be accessing the PI to do a rsync from the active drive to the... Yeah, but that's not what I want. Of course, otherwise, every time you write to your RAID volume, it will chew up resources, duplicating writes to the slave while you're attempting to use it, causing more slowness. With a little tweaking or some... Yeah, for sure. What was it? What was the command for? What was the binary for checking the resources? What was it? HU something. What was it? HTOP, exactly. I mean, it's basically doing nothing, right? So there's absolutely no overkill here at all, right? It's like 3% usage. So what the fuck are we talking about, right? I see. I see. Is there any way that we check that stat, Vladu? How do we interpret this? What the fuck does this even mean? Okay. Very interesting information. I'm completely smart and I understand what it says. I see. All right. So it says this. So I think Vladu is most likely correct. The WA IO wait percentage is around 24 to 25%. High IO wait means that processes are often waiting for IO operations to complete. This might correspond with RAID sync process if disk intensive, suggesting that potential bottleneck. There's one process consistently waiting, which is likely contributing to a moderately low CPU usage under the current load. No swap is being used, and there's a fair amount of free memory, which suggests there's no immediate memory bottleneck. I don't think. No. Shit, what the fuck? Yeah, this doesn't. I mean, I can't interpret this to be honest, but. It looks clean. I mean, to be very frank with you, at this point in time, we can just. I mean, is it safe to assume that these disks are just slow? And I mean, keep in mind, it's a Raspberry Pi. I mean, actually, true, like CPU is completely underutilized, right? So that's also a good point. They're both plugged into USB 3.0. So in one of the Raspberry Pis, there's 4 USB ports. 2 are USB 2.0, and 2 of them are 3.0. That's the last thing we're gonna try, and then I need to go. I'm already feeling like that, chica. So what do we have to do again? Let's just try this again. So let's format these guys again, I suppose, right? So we need to do what? Yeah. All right. So right now they're plugged into USB 2.0 just for fun, as the suggestion by, I don't think that's going to change anything, but actually just make it a lot slower. But let's see. There is the James Chambers website for storage benchmarks. Let's save this link immediately. Let's just check what this shell script does. I don't want to run some random shit. Jesus Christ. Virus. Oh, okay, but let's not do it now. I will do this, I promise, off stream, because I need to go soon. My wife is still awake, so I wanna see her. I wanna see her a bit. USB mounted. It's a Raspberry Pi 4B with 8 gigs of RAM. To be very honest, and you will not trust me when I tell you this, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, it's not what I expected, not how I expected the stream to go, but it's also the reason why I've been in love with computers for my whole life since 90s. This is always the place where you learn the most, right? So I think, yes, it's frustrating to some degree, but to be very frank with you, it's also very awesome. It's like, fuck, why it doesn't work, right? And you can see now that Vlad has also came to some conclusion. It's like, actually, Alex, it might not even be something that you've done. There might be something USB related with the Raspberry Pis and how they mount the drives and stuff like that. So you know, it's like, I'll just run this once more just for fun. I'll need to run after this. But let me write this down by Vlad. I'm going to put it on the to-do list on top of it. And then let's just say here, Vlad. There we go. $110,000 minutes. Looks great, guys. Looks promising. Definitely it's going to finish in a lifetime. Core, thank you very much. Thank you for being here, man. Amazing help. Thank you so much. And thank you for help and being here as well. You guys make it fun. I felt literally like we are sitting together in a room and pair programming. So that is the ideal type of stream. So thank you very much. And I hope that whenever you have the time, you can come. Seriously, man. Thanks a lot. Pair debugging, exactly. Okay, guys, listen. I'm gonna research what Vlad is saying. Thank you, Vlad, as well. So I'm gonna research that maybe even after this, after my wife goes to bed. I'm very curious now why it doesn't work. So I'm actually looking forward to tell you guys maybe tomorrow or some other time when I stream what it actually was. Nice. Okay, let me just write these things down so I don't lose them. Speak about the USB issue. Got it. Kirill is still here. Kirill, man, I love you. No, seriously, guys, thank you for being here. It's so awesome. I felt like I was at work today with my colleagues, sitting and just coding along. So that's awesome. Same craft, same. You guys make it so fun. So thank you everybody again. Thank you so much, guys. Vlad, thank you so much, man. Please just make sure to hit the follow, Vlad, just so you can come again and you help us out, because it seems you thank you, man. Just so you can hopefully see when I stream again, and if you have nothing better to do. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, I really need to go. I need to see my wife a little bit, and you guys probably want to go. It's been 3 hours. Please do, Kirill, man. I respect you a lot, man, and you're a super smart guy. So I really wish we do something together again. Rebecca, I love you. Thank you so much for being here the whole time. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Sleep well, everybody, and thank you. Peace out, all. Bye-bye.